Good morning, everybody. Welcome to my channel. My name is Christy, and this is Christy's Musings. Today, I wanted to talk about spooks. Not Casper spooks, but those spooks in black suits. But before I get started, this is something I'm working on, and it kind of has something to do with what I'm going to tell you about. This is an alien. She's gray. I gave her blue eyes. Doesn't she look like somebody we've seen a lot on the internet lately with her blue eyes? But anyway, I'm going to embellish it. I'm going to finish fixing these little clouds. But up here, you can see these like sperm-like. This is supposed to be like an ovum and these little sperm-like things, because aliens say that they created us. I'll get into that more. But anyway, here's frequencies. And then this is like a grid, like fluctuating grid having to do with AI. And this is the Earth. They said that they fertilized the Earth. So these are like seed-like things. But anyway, I've tried to put a little bit of everything in. And I'm going to go through and embellish this and glitterize it. But anyway, I thought I'd show you what I was working on. That's just for calming and serenity. But I was going to talk to you all about the Collins Elite. It was a secretive group allegedly founded in 1952 within the U.S. government and intelligence and military operations. In the summer of 1952, it was reported that there were a bunch of UFOs that floated over our nation's capital. And there were radar operators and pilots that claimed to have seen this phenomenon. Now you have to remember, this was during the Cold War, and national security was high on the military mind. And so people were all in a tizzy about this. The Collins Elite reportedly worked out of Wright-Patterson Air Force Base in Ohio. And that base is known for UFOs and Project Blue Book. Now, over time, the Collins Elite got into some kind of spooky stuff, dealing with some spooky individuals in their research. And they came to believe that the UAP phenomenon was caused by demons, which I've told you all on my channel that I think that that's what they are. The aliens or demons, they're able to go interdimensional. They float in and out. They come into your dreams and what have you. But the Collins Elite, they started, the more they investigated, the more they believed that these were demonic activity. And that their purpose was to harm mankind. They were hostile to men, and they used deceptive imagery, which I've warned a lot about on my channel, the use of AI and such. And I've also warned about how you just seem to see that everybody is angry. And this all comes into play because this is a technique used by these gray aliens or demons. Their goal is to corrupt humans, the human soul, and to harvest our bodies. The Collins elite warned that engaging with UFOs could jeopardize your salvation and open gateways to demonic influence. You see all of these UFO groups and these people that set up these workshops and where they have speakers and such, and usually interjected into these are people from the government, and that's on purpose because they want to see what people are reporting. But I've been highlighting on my channel some of the manipulation and politics involved with the Christian prophecy, and I'm sure other religions have the same thing going on where everything's being manipulated to make you believe that things are moving towards in a certain trajectory. And I believe that the politics and the CIA are involved in manipulating prophecy and churches in moving towards modern day rapture theories. You've heard of Project Blue Beam, right? In 1972, the CIA officials allegedly met in a seance room with a witch from Britain. Her name was Sybil Leeks. And during this ritual, Sybil began to channel an entity from beyond. Now, you think about it. There's all these men in uniform, and they're from some of the nation's most powerful defense agencies, sitting there listening to this woman talking to a reported extraterrestrial. Now, this is a time where history was, again, going through the chaos of, they'd already been through the chaos of the Red Scare, the psychedelic hippies, and now they were entering into the satanic panic. Through an entity named Caxulicum, I'll put that on the screen because I know I messed that up. Sybil Leeks said that the earth is a farm and you are the cattle and your souls are the harvest, are our harvest. Now, let's think about this rationally though. Remember all of the hoodoo, scary stuff of this time. When you look into who was prevalent in history during this time and their roles in the military, like Michael Aquino, for instance, the man with the funny eyebrows, he was an American political scientist and a military officer and a Satanist. He was a specialist in psychological warfare for the military and a high priest for the Temple of Set. Also during this time, there was this lady named Frances Swan. She was a housewife in Maine. And she claimed that she could do this thing called automatic writing. And she was doing this from a being named Afa, AFA. It just so happened that her neighbor was a retired rear admiral in the Navy. Also during this time, there was Jack Parsons. He corresponded with the likes of Aleister Crowley. But Jack Parsons was a rocket engineer, chemist, and a Thelemite occultist. He was the principal founder of both the Jet Propulsion Laboratory and Aerojet. Also remember, this was the time of MK Ultra and MK Offshoot. I told you, every time the government people in Congress, when they get wind of something and they make a big to-do about all of these programs and have their little meetings where they talk about, well, what did you do, this type of stuff. Every time they shut something down, all they do is take the furniture, relocate to another building, and call it something else. But I honestly believe that there were forces at work, and they are still at work today. Again, we're seeing everybody. You can't have decent conversations. The frequencies and the anger, everything is all escalating, right? And one of the aliens that Sybil Leek spoke to reportedly told her that negative frequencies kind of bring about the more interaction with these aliens. They feed off of this negativity. So, again, all of this chaos in the world, and what also are we hearing more of? Reports of the military releasing more info about UAP and UAP sightings. So, is this a coincidence? Well, just remember that they're feeding off of all of this. So there may be a ultimate goal. I've been told to take it down a notch because some people were kind of getting scared with some of the subject matter that I was covering. So, with that said, if you made it this far, I've written you a poem for today. The aliens are coming. You'd better be sweet. They like to sneak up close to your bed and nibble on your feet. They chomp down hard on your knobby little knees. They'll give those plump thighs a terrible squeeze. They'll work their way up to your torso and split open your chest. They'll save your cabeza for boiling and your teeth for their vest. So lower your frequency, tone it down a notch, or those gray aliens will be inspecting your crotch. When you go to bed at night, remember your prayers, 'cause aliens are pretty sneaky and slip in unawares. Love you all, and I'll talk to you later.